I gave power to the people, and you all decided you wanted to see the comparison between the 1.5 OG and the Retro. So let's take a look. So guys, about a week ago I went home and I picked up my original pair of Rose 1.5s so I can give you guys a look in comparison. I'm gonna first just show the box. It's the old classic Adidas Performance box. It's people know this. You go inside it though, and here is the shoe itself. I'm just gonna pull both of these out, and then I'm gonna use the pair that I haven't hooped in yet. I'm gonna pull those out and compare them. I'm actually just gonna grab. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. So, taking a look at the OG pair and a side-by-side comparison to the Retro, and you can notice some things right off the bat that are very different. First comes to, I'm going to talk about just the obvious stuff. Colors of the outsole. This outsole is this grayish color with the blue for the traction pods. This one is a darker gray that has a more of a white instead of blue for the clear pods, and then it's yellowed a little bit beneath, of course. And on this pair, as you can see, I've worn these out a little bit, to say the least. But it's a little bit different, as you can tell. But in terms of the pattern and everything, that's also the same. The materials on the OG are a shinier, almost it's a shinier gloss paneler that's also a little bit stiffer, and that's also could come with age though, because the one that's on the Retro is a really soft leather, and it's nice, but it's nowhere near as shiny as what you have on the OG. The other thing is that the piece of material right here that lines up above the sprint frame is a suede that I think this thing has looked bad since I had it. There's not many of these I think look good anyway that was made like this compared to when they did this synthetic leather for it. I like this much more than I do this. However, when it comes down to the other parts of the shoe, this shoe has a lot more shine to it, is what I like to say. The three stripes on the back, which I'm gonna grab the other one to show you this. The three stripes on the back are a red, silver, metallic look, which is very nice and bright. I dig that compared to how these are dull. But the nice thing about these being dull is that I believe when it comes to age, they will age better, because this scratches off and you just have that silver metal beneath it, whereas the other one, it will scratch off, I think, not nearly as easily, and it will stick around longer, because I know on my other ones, my other 1.5s that are like that aren't shiny, which the only other pair that I have that's like that would be the triple whites and the 1.5 Homes. Those have stayed the same. They've got scratches on it and stuff, but they're fine for the most part. So one of the things I talked about in my original review of the Retro was that beneath the Adidas logo right here underneath the tongue, there used to be a where they imprinted in the back there the 1 for Derek's jersey number. That's a mistake I made. That actually is not the case. I was thinking of the 2.5s. The 2.5s have that right beneath the tongue where it's embroidered in that, or not embroidered, but it's patched in that it's a 1 for his jersey number. The one difference I will say though is that the material used on the OG is more like a not like a metal per se, but it's a stronger plastic than the piece that they have on here, and the plastic on the OG is thicker. Another thing too is when it comes to the ankle pillows on the Retro, you can very clearly see they're just red, whereas on the OG it's black, but if you look closely to it, you can see there's a red lining in there, and along with that, it's almost 3M reflective, which is kind of cool. And same thing goes with the tongue. The tongue has a 3M reflectiveness down the center compared to the Retro, which is just plain black. So there's not much to be said there. The other thing too that I noticed that compared to the Retro to the OG is the OG, like I said, on the little Magic logo right here, it shows something different. It has a D and an R for D Rose, or for Derrick Rose, whereas the retros show just 773. And I didn't take a look at all my OG 1.5s, but I believe each OG 1.5 usually had a different thing on the tongue. So like the home colorway of the 1.5s, I believe had the 773 on it, compared to this away colorway, which had the DR on it, which I think is kind of cool. Another thing too is I remember people were talking about how the insole is like an Adidas insole in the 1.5s. And I was like, no, I don't really think that's the case. And the thing is, I don't know enough about my history, to be honest, about the implementation of Adidas into things. And I can't really tell by like touching this insole, but this insole definitely is different than what they supplied in there. This insole is different than what they had even like the 2.5s. And so I know that it definitely does feel a little bit more like softer padding. And this insole's held up pretty well too, considering how much I play in it and how old it is as well. But I have no impression left on either of the insoles to show like what was printed on there. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on both of these, what was just there was just his signature. It just had the signature that's in the back of the heel above the sprint frame. In terms of tech features and stuff though, like the shoe, I think minus the insole, is the exact same to the retro, which is very cool. The traction is the same, the sprint frame's the same, you know, the lacing system's the same, lockdown feels the same. So that's all very cool and nice. The only other difference really between the retro and the OG that I really could notice and point out as well is that the printing of his signature on the midsole is different again too, where it just comes down to where it was meant to be a shiny metallic look. And that's, for the most part, all she wrote when it comes to the differences between the OG and the retro of the Rose 1.5. And so for the price point of still getting a shoe for $110, that's dope. This shoe, just overall, just to get all those great features that the 1.5 provides, but for the price that they put it at, along with it literally being almost identical, it's very cool. And it's also nice that I think that it is slightly different because it does give this one a little bit of a different look. That for me, as someone who's a big D Rose fan, can kind of see it as, I can tell from afar if someone's wearing an OG or wearing the retro, which is cool. I mean, there are two things too as well, like just the color. Again, here's red, you know, silver, like little small things like that. And it's dope. And so, I mean, I like it. I can't complain. I think it's awesome. And I think you guys probably want to know how they perform basketball-wise still, right? And the good thing about that is that will be coming here pretty soon, within a week as well, or so, or something like that. Something close. Because I've played in them a couple times. I want to get like one more run in them before I give my thoughts. But to put it simply, I forgot how much fun this shoe is to play in, and it kind of blows my mind. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching this comparison between the retro and the OG of the Rose 1.5. And hopefully I will see you guys back for more content like this soon, and for the other content I'll be doing on the channel now. So until then, guys, peace, and I'll see you around later. Bye.